So I've gotten more questions about how to paint faces, and I've thought about this quite a bit. There needs to be a method that is simple and fast for speed painting. I know I really enjoy going into detail work, but that doesn't really work for everyone. So I thought about it, and I think I broke down a pretty efficient way to just knock out faces really quick, especially if you don't enjoy doing detail work. So I'm going to do this step by step. I'm going to start with a layer of Citadel Bugman's Glow. Alright, I'm going to knock that out real quick. Okay, now that that's done, I'm going to go ahead and apply an overcoat. And you might be wondering, if you're new to the Citadel paint system or model painting in general, why I bothered with a coat that I'm just going to paint over. And that's because the Bugman's Glow underneath is a very reddish tone, and it adds more depth to the flesh. I mean, I know I'm going for a more simple than normal approach, but yeah, I couldn't give up at least 3 layers. I'm sorry. That's just how I paint. So then I'm going to go in with Kislev Flesh. That's a layer paint, so that's going to be slightly transparent, and it's going to let some of that redness show through. Alright, and our third paint we're going to use for this face is going to be a shade coat of Reichland Flesh Shade. If I mispronounce that, I apologize. I believe that's from something from fantasy, and I don't really do fantasy. I like big bots, and I cannot lie. So for this one, you can do an all-over coat, and that's what we're going to do since it's going to try to be simple. I typically just, on most of my models, I try to just look for the recesses, and I go in with a more detailed brush. In this particular case, I'm just going to do an all-over coat for simplicity's sake, since that's what this whole thing's about. It's about batch painting. So you can finish a whole squad of guys without helmets. Space Wolf players, I'm looking at you. Alright. And then we'll leave that to dry, and we'll come back. And finally, now that our shader coat is mostly dry, I'm going to go back in, and this time I'm just going to pick out some details. Now you can see I'm still using the same brush I've been using. It's a base coat brush. It's kind of wide, but you don't have to really have that much control for this. You're just picking out the raised edges. So just a subtle brush stroke. And if you are familiar with any kind of makeup technique, I know that sounds weird when we're talking about modeling, but basically what we're doing here is we're contouring. We're making the face pop. The only difference is in makeup, you typically are trying to cover flaws. In our case, we're wanting to create one, because flaws add character to a face. You want to accentuate them and make them look different, because if you don't just, oh, that focus got super bad. I apologize. But if you don't give your models character, they're all going to look the same, and your army's going to all look like the same dude over and over and over again, and that's like the worst case scenario. Because one of the most enjoyable parts about this hobby for me is when you're done painting your army, and they're your dudes. They're different, they're unique, they're your little guys, they're your army. And I know this is stupid, but I like to think about what part in the squad each guy would fill, who's the medic, who's the guy that carries the ammo, that kind of thing. And it really just it makes the hobby more enjoyable. And it makes it more personal. It does make it hurt a little more though when you're playing and your guys are getting shot off the table, but that just adds to the fun. So this has been a brief tutorial for speed painting faces with Kelran. I hope you're having a great day, and talk to you later.